It's Our Story. Elmer Bartels and Fred Fay, Boston, Massachusetts.
Called the Council of State Administrators of Vocational Rehabilitation, called CSAVR. And as State Director from California, Ed was a member. As State Director from Massachusetts, I'm a member. Still am, because I'm still the State Director. To see how the other state directors from around the country would react to Ed, and for that matter to myself, and what role we played in amongst the state directors, because it has an organization. It has a president and a president-elect and a treasurer and secretary. It has committees and committee chairs, and to see how we were welcomed to this group of essentially non-disabled state directors from around the country, and some of them pretty conservative folks.
Not just conservative. We were in a meeting in Atlantic City, and CSAVR was meeting there, and Russell Connell was there on the other side of the room. But I came into the room to see what these directors were up to, and the head of the organization, Adrian Levy from New York, threw me out of the meeting. He didn't want consumers listening to what the state directors were talking about. To give you some of the background of the atmosphere of this conservative group, Elmer and Ed really shook them up. Go ahead.
Well, as it turned out, we were people with disabilities, and we were in the room because we were a member, and they couldn't kick us out.
Yeah.
And besides that, what Adrian Levy, and I remember him, what he had to say probably was no secret to anybody. So why he bothered to even care, I'll never know. But that's kind of some of the thinking of some of the state directors from around the country. And Ed and I, as disabled directors, began to have an impact on these 81, 82 other men and women from around the country. And I stayed as state director long enough to ultimately become the president of the organization, which I did in the mid-90s. In any case, one of the stories that Ed told me once, that he got a big boot out of going over at a CSAVR meeting and having one of the most uncomfortable people around disability that he could find, and he'd have them pour his coffee for him and mix it for him and feed it to him, and just force somebody to deal with the fact that Ed was a guy with a disability, and yeah, he needs some help with his coffee, but other than that, they'd have a conversation about something. But the guy or gal that he picked on that day learned a little bit about helping someone with a disability, and as intimidated as they may have been with Ed. And he kind of made a point of that, because he saw himself here as an ambassador trying to educate other people without disabilities and what this disability stuff is all about, and that we're nothing more than people just like everybody else. I found that kind of interesting, and actually within the CSAVR world, he became chairman of one of the committees at one point. It's too bad he didn't stay as state director in California longer, but that had to do with the politics of California, as he was state director for probably 5 or 6 years, and then the governor changed, and Ed was kicked out because he was appointed by Governor Brown.
The It's Our Story project is a national effort to make disability history public and accessible. Visit us at www.itsourstory.org or on the It's Our Story project YouTube channel.